Okay, if everybody's ready, I will call to order the LaPorte County Commissioner meeting for Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Sheila, would you lead us, please?
Commissioner Matesa, just if everyone would please remain standing after the pledge for a moment of silence for a fallen correctional deputy who was murdered. He was laid to rest this weekend, Lieutenant Eugene Lasco.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Haney,
Present.
Commissioner Mrzinski,
Present.
and Commissioner Matias.
Present.
All three members present.
We need to turn the auditor's microphone up a little bit. I can barely hear him. I'd like to consider the agenda.
Mr. President, I would like to ask, on behalf of a guest of our commission this morning, to insert a commission report to the public on the status of the Michigan City Courthouse project. And to be respectful of our guest's time, I would like to insert that after we consider our claims and before public comment.
And Mr. President, I would like to also add to consider clarifying our policy for public attendance at public meetings, just to make sure the public is clear and we are all clear on what that is, as well as consider RFP and RFQ for a position of county attorney.
Commissioner Haney's going to either have to get closer to the microphone or speak up. I can't hear what he's saying.
Certainly. Can you hear me now, Commissioner? Mr. President? Mr. President, can you hear me now?
That's a little better.
Okay, excellent. In addition, Mr. President, I'd like to add us to consider a policy for public attendance for our meetings, just to clarify that a little bit for our social distancing and allowing members of the public to attend who need to, and obviously also consider Zoom, continue Zoom, and then also consider an RFP and RFQ for the position of county attorney.
Mr. President, I would object to the second request because we've already considered that in the beginning of January, and we have we voted on that at the first meeting in January, and that is a one-year commitment.
For clarification, that is an at-will contract position.
I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with the addition of the presentation from Ton and Blank. Can I get a motion on that?
All right, I move that we accept the agenda with the Ton and Blank community report inserted after claims ahead of public comment.
I will second the motion on that, but hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Nay.
thank you. Approval of the February 17th.
Point of order, Mr. President. In setting the agenda here today, point of order for today, in setting the agenda for today, I asked for an item to be, actually two items to be added to the agenda. One was the consideration of the policy for public attendance at public meetings, and the other one was to consider an RFP and RFQ for the position of county attorney. I see that is not on the agenda here today. Can anyone explain to me why that is not on the agenda?
Making a motion, you're going to need a second for it.
No, I'm not making a motion. I'm making a point of order as to why my additions to the agenda are not on it.
My understanding, they came in after the agenda was already approved and published.
That is not accurate, Mr. President. They were submitted at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday. The agenda didn't come out until about 9:45.
I would like our attorney to weigh in because I think that we have a Robert's Rules of Order approval process where the president of the commission reviews the agenda with our secretary and approves the agenda as...
Yes, the Robert's Rules provides that the presiding officer sets the agenda. Certainly, anyone can submit items to the president through Diane for submission, but there's no obligation for the presiding officer to place any item on the agenda.
So so your legal opinion right now is that because of Robert's Rules of Order, the president is able to disallow additions to the agenda prior to it being set?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you specify when this commission officially adopted Robert's Rules of Order as our official means of conducting business? I know
Probably 40 or 50 years ago. But,
probably 40, 50 years ago.
But Mr. Haney, the issue you might have is with Mr. Robert, who wrote Robert's Rules 145 years ago. I mean, that's pretty much standard procedure at any board or commission.
Sure.
And so what I would suggest that you do, just like we all do, we submit through Diane items to be included on the agenda, and then it's up to the presiding officer, whoever that is, at any time, to decide whether or not it goes on the agenda.
Okay, so we don't know for sure if we are. The reason why this is important, Mr. Attorney, is that the only way the president will be able to disallow additions to the agenda is if we are for certain that we are officially acting under Robert's Rules of Order, and that is actually a point of consideration there, because there's absolutely no statutory or legal authority the president has to disallow another member of the commission to add items to the agenda prior to it being published. You're aware of that, correct?
Mr. Haney, I'm simply going based on 37 years of advising governmental bodies and commissions in this county. If they operate under Robert's Rules, all items need to go through the presiding officer. And I'm suggesting respectfully to you that Robert's Rules have been in place for decades in the way the county commission governed itself.
I would say informally, yes, but going back through at least all the information that I have, we haven't officially adopted. And the reason that's important this morning is because if they're going to allow something that the president does not have specific statutory authority to do, we should be certain that if you're going to give a legal opinion disallowing my additions to the agenda, that you are actually offering true and correct legal advice.
I know. Mr. Haney, what I've indicated to you, and I've indicated before, is that this board has operated under Robert's Rules for decades. That's the process.
And you can't tell me when that has actually occurred.
No, I wasn't asked before this morning
Sure.
to try to find the spot in the 1950s or 60s where it was adopted.
Right along.
But-
Item on the agenda, consider approval of February.
We lost his sound.
I would move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
The motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Consideration of claims.
Members of the Board of Commissioners, we have payroll ending 2/26/21 in the amount of $1,197,978.76. And we have operating expense claims in the amount of $1,357,747.69. I hope you could hear that, Commissioner Brzezinski.
Entertain a motion to accept those claims.
I move to approve the claims as presented, the citizens understanding that we have all reviewed the claims and asked any questions prior to this meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we have some folks there from Town and Blank. I'd like to give us a presentation on the Michigan City Courthouse, which, by the way, I got to tour that week before last, I believe. It's pretty amazing to me from what it used to look like to what they got it looking like now. It's pretty exciting. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I'm John Gilmore, President and CEO of Ton and Blank Construction.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give you an update on the Michigan City LaPorte County Courthouse project. So first, we'll get right into it. We'll talk about the schedule. Next slide, please. So schedule, so hard to read here, but generally speaking, the bars on the right represent the original schedule when we had 2 phases. And that contractually called for us to be completed and get the certificate of occupancy by September of 2022. when the decision was made, which was an excellent decision, by the way, in our opinion, from a construction standpoint, to open the temporary courthouse at the old Brown Mackey College, we're able to give a deduct of $350,000 back from our contract and move the date up 7.5 months. So the new certificate of occupancy date is February of 2022. So we're doing both the interior remodel, I'll show some pictures here in a few minutes, as well as the addition in one phase opposed to the original 2 phases. Next slide, budget. Next slide, please. Okay, so here is the total budget. In the gray box, that just represents our contract, the construction portion. And as you can see, we have the $350,000 deduct that was given for reducing it to 1 phase. We've had about $210,000 in scope changes since we started. So overall, the construction budget is $140,000 under budget. Then you go to the bottom where we have the $22,492,000, which is the total project budget. We're still carrying, or you're carrying about $658,000 in owner contingency that hasn't been touched, as well as the $140,000 savings from construction. So we're tracking at about right around $800,000 of contingency on the project. So we're ahead of schedule, we're under budget. So I think those are good things. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone we've been working with here, because we haven't given a report in a long time. I'd like to thank the commissioners for their cooperation, the council, specifically Randy Novak, who's part of our steering committee. Randy's been great helping us navigate through this. Of course, Joey Winsky, who's leading the project, Larry Lewandowski from facilities, Darlene, thank you, because you got my PowerPoint loaded this morning at the last minute, and Doug B.G. Shaw on the legal side. It's really been a team effort, and a team effort makes for a successful project. So I really want to thank everyone who's been involved, because it's been a pleasure, actually. Next slide, we'll talk about the job site safety. Next one. So we've been working out there for 214 actual calendar days, 142 work days, 17,500 man hours have been worked, and we've had 0 accidents, 0 recordable injuries, 0 days away from work, and 0 lost time accidents. So it's been a very safe project, which we all want. And again, that lends to its success. Go through some progress photos. So the first one is just an aerial. You can see the old courthouse, soon to be renovated, and the new addition there. Just another perspective, you're looking at the 2nd floor of the addition. We still have another round of precast that goes on the side, and then the roof, and the 3rd floor. So that's where we're at. This is the basement of the old courthouse. If anyone was in the basement, it looks a lot different now and a lot better. I will say this project, American Structure Point has done a great job designing it. You are going to have a new state-of-the-art facility, including the 100-year-old courthouse. When we're done, that thing is going to be like a new building. So that's the basement. Next, that's the 1st floor of the existing. As you can see, the clay tile on the top is how they used to form concrete. We don't do that anymore. That's when labor was very inexpensive. You can see we're hanging drywall. In fact, in some places, we're ready for paint in the existing building. And as I said before, we wouldn't have even started working in there for 6 or 8 months from now if we hadn't moved everyone out. Next is the 2nd floor. You can see the mechanical and electrical rough-in is in. Studs and drywall are going up. Next is the 3rd floor. Not as much activity, but the rough-ins are going in, and you can see the high ceilings. Next one, Darlene, is a better picture. So what amazes me is we have this pitched roof, and that pitched roof is all poured in place concrete, and they use 12-inch wide boards to form it. You can see where the old form lines are stripped. So it's an amazing structure. I'm so happy that we kept it. Being a lifetime resident of LaPorte County, I'm very proud of this project, and I'm sure you are too. And like I said, it's going to be beautiful when we're finished. So lastly, I'd like to take a moment to address some of the comments that were made at the last meeting. about why we hired Ton and Blank, how the bidding process works, how the hiring processes work. So I just want to go through and try to provide some factual data on what we've done. So first, when we went out for bids, being a construction manager at risk, we are required to go through the public bidding rules for all the subcontractors that we hire for this project. We went through the bidding agencies, Blue Book, Dodge, Bid Tool, many of them, as well as advertised in the paper. So we reached out to over 20,000 subcontractors between the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. More than 500 of those notified were disadvantaged business enterprises. When we received bids, we received 67 bids, which may not sound like a lot based upon 20,000 invitations, but it was a great turnout. We got at least 3 bids on every major category, in some cases 6, which again helped us, I'm sure, come within budget. We received 11 bids from LaPorte County contractors. As I believe you're aware, there are no local hiring ordinances for LaPorte County for contractors or for labor. So therefore, we had to hire who the most low responsive bidders were. We actually had a LaPorte contractor that was within a couple $1,000s of an out-of-town contractor, but we had to hire the out-of-town contractor. They did a great job as well, so we're happy with that. But we're able to award 5 bid categories to LaPorte County contractors. We received 3 disadvantaged business bids, and we awarded 1 disadvantaged business one of the packages. And to point out that all federal, state, local, and employment laws have been followed on this project. Next slide. So project labor. There was some discussion at the last meeting regarding an ordinance 4102. We were told we should look up 4102, so I looked up 4102. 4102 is a Michigan City hiring, local hiring ordinance, okay? It does not apply to this job. This job is a county job. The definition of a project under that ordinance is a construction project from the Michigan City Public Works for which the estimated cost is more than $150,000. To set the record straight, there was a statement made that Ton and Blank is one of the biggest offenders of this ordinance. I can tell you that Ton and Blank has never done a project that falls under this ordinance. So by definition, we are not an offender because we're not qualified. We have never done a job that's under this ordinance. But let's go to the next slide, please. Here, go up one. Yep. So here are the actual hours that have been worked on the site. Now, I don't know, this isn't as of today. This was as of the last certified payroll that we received a week or so ago. But as you can see, I said before, we've worked 17,500 hours on the site. Of that, 4,500 hours, 4,585 hours were worked by people of color, which represents 26% of our workforce on site. And for comparative reasons, we looked up the U.S. Census, and the population of LaPorte County is represented by 19% people of color. So we're exceeding what the population is through the people on site. And once again, we're following the federal, the state, local, and employment laws. So next slide. So we believe and we think that you hired us for all the right reasons, right? Because you trusted us as the best solution as a construction manager to deliver your project. And hopefully we're meeting your expectations. Hopefully we'll exceed your expectations when this project is done. But there's also benefit of hiring Ton and Blank. One, we've been in business for 99 years. Next year's our 100th birthday. We're a LaPorte County contractor. I was born in LaPorte County. I've worked in LaPorte County my whole life, lived in LaPorte County my whole life. And we really care about our community. And we give back to our community. And I could have a line all the way from here to the street of not-for-profit organizations that we've helped in this community. In fact, we've literally given tens of millions of dollars over the last decade to not-for-profits at Ton and Blank. So that is a benefit of you hiring us. You hired us for the right reasons, but this is a benefit of it. Next slide, please. And next one. So I sat down with Joe Core the one day, and we don't keep very good track of who we give money to and who we take care of because it's part of our culture. But we came up with 32 different projects that we've done over the last several years. Next slide, please. That add up to over $1 million just here in LaPorte County. Remember, we work all over the state, all over the country. Just here in LaPorte County, we've done 32 jobs that we could remember. Now, it's probably 3 times that we actually have worked on. I literally get calls every week, someone asking us to come look at their roof that's leaking. And we'll go out and we'll look at it, and we'll send a roofer and we'll patch it at the same time. So we feel that we've been a great partner to LaPorte County, and we feel that LaPorte County has been a great partner to us. So thank you for the opportunity to deliver this project. We'll continue to diligently work to make it successful. And my goal and my promise to you is we want to make this the most successful project that LaPorte County has done in my lifetime. So thank you. Do we have any questions?
May we have a copy of the PowerPoint so that we can load it to the county's website? 'Cause a lot of our citizens will be really interested. Thank you for honoring the heritage and history of that building. Just looking at some of the raw photos is really interesting, as comparing new processes to old. But we're honoring the historical nature of that. That is a beautiful community building. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming today and giving us a report. We're hoping that between now and February 2022, when you're finished, you'll be back to give us an incremental report. So thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, and I want to say,
Can you hear me?
kind of.
Joey?
Yeah, Joey's on.
I just wanted to say it's been a pleasure, not only working with Tony Blank, but working with Structure Point also. I really learned a lot about construction. Tony Blank is so professional. They answer every question we have. They're very patient with all of us. And I would highly recommend them for a construction manager, for anybody that needs one. I think that they're a great, they're a great company. And as far as community service, they've given back. I personally know of 3 projects that they've been involved in, and really done a great job. So thank you, John, and everybody. And Brian and Matt and Joe, everybody at Time Run, thank you for being so patient with me and the great job we're doing for the county.
Awesome.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Gilmore?
I do. I want to say thank you to Mr. Gilmore and Mr. Core and their team. On Friday, I went out and I toured this work site. We went all over, and it was pretty interesting to see some of the history of when some of the stuff gets torn down. Seeing that roof, for example, that's something that very few people get to see in person in real life nowadays. To see something like that before that thing's done. So I want to thank you for your time and appreciate the tour through there. It was very thorough.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, John. Moving along, when we do public comment, I wanted to correct a couple of things that were mentioned about our public comment that were in error. One, that it was outdated. Actually, the date on our public comment ordinance is February of 2019, so fairly 2 years old. And we do have guidelines on there. Guidelines are designed to limit defamation and unprotected speech and to avoid embroiling the county in lawsuits. Our public comment ordinance was designed and adopted. It's also been sent to the public access counselor, and he described it as a model. And we've also shared our ordinance with other counties, Elkhart County being the latest who have adopted it. And it also complies with Robert's Rules of Order, something that the one that the council adopted does not do. There are, we've also heard a complaint that we were limiting speech protected by the First Amendment. Actually, there are things that the First Amendment does not cover for public comment, which would be 9 categories: obscenity, fighting words, defamation, including libel and slander, child pornography, perjury, blackmail, incitement to imminent lawless action, true threats, and solicitations to commit crimes. So we are holding public comment as a way for the public to comment on whatever we're doing, whatever's on our agenda. So if there's anyone at this time who would like to make a comment or public comment, please let me recognize you.
Mario Rosa.
Yes, Mario.
My name is Mario Rosa. I'm a resident of Rolling Prairie. My address is 4877 North, 425 East. I've lived there approximately 20 years. I'm calling this morning to address the commission because I am extremely upset, just like many of my neighbors on 425, that we have been mandated to hook up to the Phase 2 project. The first notification that I received was on a letter that I received on December 31st. The letter itself was dated December 17th. That was the first indication that we were part of this project. That letter stated that we would receive a packet. I got that packet. Again, the letter was dated January 22nd, but we did not receive it until February 13th. My problem is that we have not been notified. The cost of this particular project for us is going to be anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 to hook up. We have not been told. The letter pretty much had a lot of if, ands, or buts that basically stated that our septic system might be leaking, might be doing damage to the aquifer. Well, in fact, I've been there for 20 years, and I've never had anybody from the LaPorte Health Department come in and check our system to see whether it's not, and I don't believe my neighbors as well. We find ourselves in a position that I spoke with Mr. Bishop last week. Mr. Bishop told me that he believed that the project was to end on Ludlow Street. I received an email today that was sent from Mr. Bishop, okay? And he said in that email that this decision had been made by the trustees. I spoke to Ms. Ransbottom, who is the district manager for the LaPorte County Regional Sewer District. She had told me that it was the commissioners who had decided. So obviously, no one really knows who decided that the 9 residents on our side on 425 were included. We are just regular, everyday, hardworking people. I just put a new roof on my house. I have other expenses, okay? Just like you folks keep a budget at the county, we keep a budget at our house, and I'm sure that my neighbors do as well. An additional $10,000 with 2 boys in college, okay, is not something that we were looking forward to. And I would just like an explanation. I am not averse to having a better, healthy community. However, this has to be balanced with our specific needs and the dollars that we have available. Mr. Bishop was supposed to get back to me with information regarding a program that the USDA had. Well, he did not return, get back to me. I found it. Individuals who are 65 can apply for a waiver, a grant and a loan. But you can only make $33,000. None of us qualify for that, to my knowledge. And so I would like an explanation. First of all, when did, he said that we received information 2 to 3 years ago that there was a meeting at the VFW. I never received any mail other than that letter on December 17th.
Well, Mr. Rose, I can tell you that, first of all, this project is conducted by the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District, not the commissioners. They are a separate.
But in fact, they told me that it was you guys that initiated it. That is what Ms. Ransbottom said to me.
The original project started, well, how many years ago with phase one? And I know there have been several, there has been information sent out to people, and there was also public meetings. I was at the public meeting. I know that it was there. Have you addressed this at the regional sewer district meeting?
I had not.
They have the authority, sir. This project, like I said, was started by LaPorte County several years ago with phase one. Saved some homes, saved some businesses, and a lot of the regulatory things that go to sewer and water projects come from the state. So I know that our LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District have to follow state guidelines, but they plan to continue with the project, and if there's specific issues that you have, that's who you have to take it up with. We have a representative on it, which you already talked to, Mr. Bishop. He is the commissioner's liaison to the Sewer and Water Board. He keeps us informed of what's going on, and I can guarantee you that everything they do has some sort of legal responsibility. So I would ask.
I appreciate what you're saying, Mr. Brzezinski. However, okay, they have passed the buck over to you, that saying that it was the commissioners and or the trustees, okay, that initiated this, and they wanted it, that the commissioners wanted this, okay, and without giving us a thought, okay. You're our voice, okay. Mr. Bishop is our voice, okay. To my knowledge, we have 9 people, okay, that are, which would cost, let's see, $4.59 to send us a letter to say, hey, you know what, in a $2 million project, $4.59 is not an awful lot of money to let us know, and that we're being asked to shell out $10,000.
Well, I do know this about the Sewer and Water Board, that if your septic were to fail, it would cost you more than $10,000.
Yes, but, however,
if you have room for it.
well,
Yeah.
it is there, okay, and if I was to put in a new septic system, okay, I wouldn't have to pay upwards of, I think it's $1,000 a year, at what they're talking about. The fee.
Well, there's a lot of things about the sewer and water project that I don't know, and I don't believe my fellow commissioners would know about that either. It's not something we handle on a normal basis. That's why they have a freestanding entity with the Sewer and Water Board. I would ask Mr. Bishop to get back with you to answer whatever questions you may have. And I will ask him to let you know when the next meeting is, when and where the next meeting is.
I believe it's on the 17th.
Pardon me?
I believe it's on the 17th, 16th or 17th.
Well, I would recommend that you go there.
I will be there.
Address your grievances with them, and keeping in mind that they do have federal guidelines and state guidelines that they have to go by. It's something.
One of them is that they have to notify us.
Well, I know they have. I know there have been public notification. I know there have been public meetings. Whether you, if you didn't get that notification, I'm not sure why or how, but I do know they have sent out public notice, and I know they had public meetings. So
the only notice that Ms. Ransbottom said was that they posted in the newspaper, which is probably the least effective mode of letting constituents know that they're going to be affected by a certain decision.
Well, whatever means they have used, I don't know. I would imagine that was it. I guess the other alternative would be to put places in your individual mailboxes, or if you have a mail at the post office individually. I don't know. I don't know what they do there. Like I said, I'm a liaison to that, but I haven't been to a meeting for a bit. But I'm going to ask Mr. Bishop, I see he's online here, to give you a call. And I would encourage you to go to the meeting of the Sewer and Water Board and hopefully they can answer all your questions.
I will be there. Thank you very much.
Their intention is not to create hardship on people.
But they have.
Well, their intention is to help the greater good, to save the town, to save more homes and businesses. So that's their intention. Now, is it perfect? Probably not. Not too many things the government does is. But I would encourage you to go to the meeting, and I'll ask Mr. Bishop to make sure you know when and where that is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your addressing the concerns. Anybody else from the public? Anybody that's there live?
Yeah, we have a
Or
gentleman
on Zoom?
here. Mr. Merzinski, someone is approaching.
Yeah, who's that? I can't see you very well here.
He's passing out some documents. Hi.
Good morning. My name is Rick Kintaff, live on Box Street, LaPorte, Indiana. Been a lifelong resident, except the time when I was away serving in the United States military. I'm honored to be here for you this morning. I want to address two issues. One of them is the ongoing situation that's been going on social media between three members in the room this morning, which has been very troubling to me. First off, I know Mr. Stabos, Mr. Friedman for many years. Both gentlemen I respect very highly. Mr. Haney, I've just had an opportunity to meet here recently, but I also respect him. But when I saw the allegations and things that have been going on social media, I tried to interact a little bit on social media to get some answers. I didn't feel I was getting the right answers. So the documents I gave you is a copy of my Freedom of Information Act that I submitted to both Mr. Haney and Mr. Stabos, requesting any information to back up the claims that I saw on social media. Well, I got a letter from an attorney by the name of Gus DiMartino that said he needed some more clarification. I thought I was very clear on what I asked for. I think he's dealing with semantics on this. Said he didn't have any that meet my request that I thought I was very clear on. I feel that, and when I met with Mr. Haney, when I presented my letter to him, I feel if there's documentation to back up these claims, both gentlemen, Mr. Stabos and Mr. Haney, once they took public office, they're duty bound to provide that information to the proper authorities. Myself as a retired police officer, also someone who served on an FBI task force, and that's what I told Mr. Haney that day. I said, well, if they're not going to do it, I would. Because we need total transparency here in LaPorte County. The taxpayers deserve that. And that's my goal. If there's been wrongdoing in this county, which I feel was alleged on these social media posts, criminal activity, official malfeasance, then something needs to be done about it. It needs to be turned over to the proper authority. Investigation needs to take place. Let's get to the bottom of it. I have no personal agenda against any of these three men. I respect all three of them. But I feel as a taxpayer in this county, we need total transparency. If something's going on, let's get to the bottom of it. And that's what this Freedom of Information request was about. Like I said, I respect Mr. Stabos, Mr. Haney, and Mr. Friedman. I've known all of them for a long time. My parents were involved with the lawsuit against NIPSCO. Mr. Friedman represented them, saved taxpayers in this county millions of dollars. But if there's something going on, we need to get to the bottom of it. And that's what this is about. I can tell you this, if there are documents that turn up that meet my request, and I didn't get them, and they turn up in a lawsuit, I'm going to sue somebody. I'm just letting you know that right now. The other thing is, there better not be any taxpayer dollars to pay either of these two gentlemen's legal fees, because I will sue to get those legal fees back on behalf of taxpayers in this county. I want everyone to know that. My second question is, when it comes to projects in this county, is it still anything over $150,000 that needs to be let out for bids? I'm asking.
Yeah, it's my understanding, yes.
Okay. 2 council meetings ago, I saw where Larry Lewandowski asked for $230,000 for a company called New Tech Construction for the Monroe Street remodel. Were there 3 bids for that project? Do you know?
I believe the majority of that work is being done by our in-house by our actual facilities department. So I don't know how much, are you aware, Mr. Friedman, of how much money is actually for materials versus?
No, I'm not sure of the breakdown, but I think that is correct. We are using in-house maintenance department for a considerable amount. But you're right about the overall competitive bid level, and we insist that that be adhered to by all departments.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I was just curious, because I saw, said he wanted $230,000 for a company called New Tech Construction, but there were no bids. So I'm just trying to curious on this. I'd like to piggyback on what the gentleman from Tongue and Blank said. I think we need to look at an ordinance that we try to keep as much work here in LaPorte County, because I believe New Tech Construction is out of county. And if Michigan City has it, I'd like to know why LaPorte County doesn't have it. I think that's something that this commission should really look at. And I'd also like to piggyback on something else that, when I was with American Legion 451 post in Michigan City, we had the greatest cooperation out of a couple of construction companies in LaPorte County. One didn't really give us a time of day. And Tongue and Blank was there constantly, and I think they're still working with them. So they are very community oriented. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kemptat. Is there anyone else there live who would like to comment on public comment? Is there anyone on Zoom for public comment?
If I may, I just would like to, not as public comment, but as a matter of a clarification on the matters we were discussing in my role as auditor. I believe it's also true, and I just asked the commissioners and or the attorney, that the share of the money for that project that was related to COVID dollars would technically be waived in terms of some of those requirements because of the federal.
And that is correct. If in fact CARES Act dollars were involved, it would modify the public bid requirements to some extent. But again, I think it's a mix of in-house and out-of-house contracting on that particular job.
Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom for public comment? Going once? Yes, right here. Michael Streeter, the best, please. Michael Streeter, 4848 North, 425 East. I'm one of Mario's neighbors. All the same concerns, a little bit different situation. I did speak at the district meeting a couple weeks ago. Kind of along with Mario, I asked a lot of pretty simple questions for something that was kind of in the works for so long. I wasn't aware of it, and we can debate those reasons later, but basically, they couldn't really tell me a lot about it, and even now that they have, it's still a lot of conflicting information. Mr. Bishop sent me an email last night referring to 5 houses on the east side of the road, 2 houses on the west side of the road. But in fact, the map that I did receive from Ms. Ramsbottom showed 9 residents altogether. And I do understand that this really isn't the platform for it, but we've got 2 weeks to wait, and I got a trencher in my yard today. So kind of time's of the essence to reach out. So along with that, I'm basically kind of asking for where the minutes from those public meetings are. I assume that should be public access, along with any reports or studies that were done, which I would assume are public access. And the final 2 things, I guess, would be, you mentioned going to the meetings. So are the meetings open to the public, or are we still going to have to do that via Zoom?
Mr. President,
as far as I know, right now, they will still be on Zoom. We're going to be discussing that here in today's meeting about whether we're going to open up any further opening of the meeting of the county buildings. And as far as their next meeting, I don't know yet if that's been decided. But for the documentation that you're requesting, that would have to come from the regional sewer board. The only way that the commissioners would have that would be if we asked the board to supply it to us. So,
Mr. Streeter.
Okay, and I know myself and Mr. Rosa have reached out to them through Mr. Bishop. I just got in contact with him yesterday, so that was my first email correspondence there. Now, I have been in touch with Ms. Ramsbottom for over 2 weeks now, and again, she kind of keeps leading me to these dead ends. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the minutes that are available through the ALCO website only date back to May of 2020, so that's not far enough to really gain any information of that unless there's something I can't find. And it seems like I can't get just a direct answer or a direct
direction where to go to find this information. And it's quite a large expense. I'd like to understand why and know the ins and outs of it before I make a decision how I even feel about it any which way.
Mr. President, can I provide Mr. Streeter?
I would highly advise that you or the sewer district or someone reaches back out to the community here in Rolling, because there is a lot of confusion and a lot of concerned residents that whether it's all coming or not, there's just a lot of questions I think the public would like answered and have the opportunity to be in a meeting again. Now that they are very much aware of it, without a doubt.
Mr. President, may I make a suggestion that we ask Mitch to be our liaison to this group of citizens, that he sits down with them, a kitchen table meeting, and go through the plans as he knows it, or arrange for a further meeting with the sewer board so that they can get the answers to their questions. You know, we have nothing to hide here. If the meetings aren't posted, we need to make sure that that's corrected, but Diane can help get the minutes to the group of citizens from the last meetings, if there are minutes indeed, which there should be, and then Mitch could serve as a liaison to be a problem solver for this group of citizens.
And Mr. President, as well, if Mr. Streeter or anyone else wants to direct an open records request to the Regional Sewer District, they direct it to Attorney Barry McDonnell. Mr. McDonnell is the attorney for the Regional Sewer District Board, and then would be required under the Open Records Act to respond just like I have to when records requests come in here. So it's Mr. Barry McDonnell. He's an attorney on Franklin Square in Michigan City that you can direct an open records request to regarding anything about the Regional Sewer District, whether it's minutes, appropriations, anything like that. It does go through Mr. McDonnell.
Thank you, Council. That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Hopefully we get your questions answered, and hopefully soon. Also, does Mr. Bishop have your contact information?
He does, at least I can email a phone number to him. He does have my email currently, though. Is there contact information for this Barry McDonnell? I mean, this is the first time. Or how do I find that?
I'll ask Mr. Bishop to send that to you if he has your email address.
Okay.
That'll be all right, Mitch and Brian. Okay?
Yes.
But thanks for your concerns.
Thank you for your time.
Sure. Anyone else on Zoom that wants to make a public comment?
Oh,
Going once,
we'll let Mitch.
going twice. All right, if that public comment will be over. Moving along on the agenda, I see we have department head reports.
Mr. President, as a request of this commission, I have asked Attorney Friedman to give a community report on the work that his firm has done over the last couple of years. You know, we occasionally invite, in fact, Mr. Reardon is here, we occasionally invite Mr. Reardon to come on behalf of his firm and the Redevelopment Commission work that he does around economic development. Mr. Rodriguez is in the room, we often have him come and give reports, and I realize that we have not asked for those reports from Mr. Friedman. His firm's name has been in the social media news for sure, and I think it's really important that the citizens realize that the work that the people that I've mentioned, Mr. Reardon, Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Friedman do, is at the request and at the behest of elected officials who ask them to work on projects as part of our team. Over the last 2 years that I've been a commissioner, we have done a really good job of working as a leadership team. I'm looking around the room, there's some department heads here. You know, we all bring a certain amount of expertise, but most of us aren't legal experts. And so to keep us out of trouble and to keep making sure that our projects are moving forward, we very often ask the attorney for the commission, the attorney for the council, and other attorneys to weigh in on projects and help guide us and advocate and make sure we stay out of trouble, to be quite frank. So Mr. Friedman has a report, and I would request that we hear that and then move on to other department heads.
Thank you, sir. The floor is yours.
Mr. President, I have just a really quick clarification question. So just for my own edification here and that of the public, under department head comments, any professional services or department heads or elected officials would be able to speak under department head comments? Is that the position of the board?
We often have, like, the sheriff normally gives an annual report, the planning department gives reports, so yeah, that's pretty much our routine.
And you would be in agreement with Commissioner Mateus, Mr. President?
The president recognizes Mr. Friedman for his county year in review. I'd like to see it myself as a representative of the county. He speaks for the Board of Commissioners. So, Mr. Friedman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to thank the commissioners for giving me the opportunity, like so many department heads have had over the past 2 years, to talk about what we do, the successes we've had as part of this great team. Now, even though there was a party change on the commission in January, the public will note that there was not a single department head or professional advisor who changed. Why? Because you as commissioners have built a winning team and have decided after the elections are over, the party jerseys come off, we all work for the benefit of our citizens. We are all bipartisan problem solvers. My firm is proud to be part of this winning team. Everything we do is at the direction and request of the elected officials. You all are the quarterbacks of the team. I'm but one of the wide receivers on the team. You quarterbacks call the plays, we run the routes, hopefully catch most of the passes thrown to us, and hopefully score for LaPorte County. But there are other wide receivers and running backs, many of whom are in this room, also scoring for our team, and our success is your success. You quarterbacks get your signals from the coaches, the voters in this county. The voters deserve to know what their county attorneys are doing and how that all fits into the team concept that you have designed. I'll now get into my report on accomplishments of this past year, the report that you asked me to prepare. First, a legal overview. Firm members are on call 24/7, which allows county department heads and elected officials to get timely legal advice as issues and questions arise. This helps to ensure all policies and laws are adhered to in order to avert costly settlements and judgments with a focus on risk prevention and litigation avoidance strategies. No open records or open door complaints are currently pending with the Public Access Council or in the courts. We focus on ensuring that all contracts and ordinances are properly advertised. The firm adheres to the county's value on openness and transparency. I want to move to some of the successes that we've had working with the county leadership team and at their direction. We think it's important. This is the report to the shareholders, if you will, the taxpayers, the taxpaying public in LaPorte County. We played a key role in advising all county departments and commissioners on federal and state mandates for the county's COVID-19 response, funding and protocols, including development of employment and building policies to protect staff, patrons, and citizens. We worked closely with state government to gain the maximum allocation for LaPorte County of $3.6 million in CARES Act funding for PPE, testing, and vaccination programs. We successfully partnered, particularly proud of this, we've successfully partnered with stakeholders to obtain a $1 million grant from IEDC to permit full connectivity of rail at Kingsborough Industrial Park, which brings us one step closer to connection with the two Class 1 freight rail carriers, CN and CSX, which will aid in business development and job creation. We won a decision from the Indiana Supreme Court blocking class certification in the matter of Dempsey versus Auditor. Had class certification been permitted, the county's exposure, the taxpayers' exposure, was in the millions of dollars had there been that class certification granted for claims on interest on tax refunds. Working with the county leadership team and at their direction, we obtained a stop work order in the summer of 2020 on a contested residential site off 400 North. This order was recently upheld in Indianapolis by an administrative law judge, which served to vindicate this commission's insistence on prohibiting industrial activity in a residentially zoned area. In terms of voting rights, access, I'm particularly proud, and the clerk who is here will attest to this as well. We secured a $68,000 grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to purchase a mobile van for early voting and voter registration. We worked to move early voting from the courthouse to more user-friendly, accessible voting locations without security checkpoints. And we successfully negotiated with LaPorte Hospital for use of the former Cool Spring Township Library location for early voting, a site used by thousands of LaPorte County voters in the 2020 elections. Sheriff's Department and the Commissioners requested we draft an ordinance to regulate overweight trucks, and we put together enforcement mechanisms to protect county roads, which was completed and approved. Again, further working with the county leadership team and at your direction, we secured INDOT approval to relinquish that property, the state-owned property at the corner of 2 and 20, which will provide the site for the much-needed ambulance base for the eastern side of our county along with a highway garage. We secured, finally, The Department of Environmental Management approval to close out that leaky underground storage site at the highway site in Rolling Prairie so the site can be marketed and now put back on the tax rolls. We teamed with stakeholders and completed extensive planning and preparatory work. You heard Mr. Gilmore talk about the project, the building project. This was a team effort to secure an A+ bond rating from Wall Street investment firm Standard & Poor's. To go through that due diligence meant that we had to convince Standard & Poor's of not only the transparency of county operations, but that we were well managed and fiscally sound. That bond rating, which we secured as a team, provides significant cost savings to our taxpayers on the interest paid for the bond issue for the courthouse project. We've coordinated closely with our state legislative delegation on both sides of the aisle, working to protect LaPorte County's interest in Indianapolis, including securing $500,000 in funding for lifeline grants for small businesses during the pandemic. We coordinated with legislators and state government to protect the county's share of gaming revenues. Now, we've got some priorities for 2021 that have been given us from county elected officials. We hear not only from commissioners, but members of the council, sheriff, treasurer, and other elected officials. That's who we take our cues from. On public health and safety, 3 key areas. We're going to seek funding and guide planning and construction for the fully staffed Rolling Prairie area EMS base and highway garage that you're going to hear Mr. McGuire and others talk about here in a few meetings near the corner of US 20 and State Road 2. We intend to assist the Sheriff's Department with their continuing compliance and implementation of all 6 pillars of the President's 2015 Task Force Report on 21st Century Policing. Elected county officials have also expressed concern to us that the county needs to renew attention and focus on the region's toxic releases, its impact on the area cancer rates and health outcomes. So we stand ready to assist with this effort, which in fact impacts every family and child in LaPorte County. Moving to the next area, economic development and job creation. Again, we take our cues, the signals from you quarterbacks in terms of where we're going, where we're headed. We've gotten signals from the elected officials in 3 areas on economic development and job creation. 1, we will assist to advance projects in the county's 3 TIF areas, including support and strategy for the 39 North Conservancy District's grant application for the proposed water tower. That's being done through the Redevelopment Commission to the Federal Economic Development Administration. We'll assist you to help provide and obtain private sector commitments necessary to advance the proposed installation of water and sewer under I-94, something redevelopment has been working years on, but we've got to get private sector commitments to partner that with public money. And thirdly, under economic development job creation, we'll continue aiding the County Commission's progress on gaining full rail connectivity at Kingsbury Industrial Park. That connectivity with CN and CSX means jobs and additional opportunity at Kingsbury Industrial Park. Finally, among the priorities for 2021 that have been communicated to us by elected officials, not just at the county level, but the mayors, state representatives, working for LaPorte County's fair share. We are going to continue this county commission's bipartisan problem-solving strategy by working closely with area legislators, both sides of the aisle, and the 9 county Northern Indiana advocates. We want to continue advocacy for the county's fair share of state funding for roads and infrastructure, which all of you have expressed as a concern. And we intend to respond to local officials' desire to advocate for more area residents, whether Republican, Democratic, or Independent, being appointed to key state boards and commissions to increase our county's representation in Indianapolis, which I think we all agree is important. Next page, we've got, and I'll have handouts here, some of the clips connected with the projects we've been involved in, the ordinances we've been involved in at your direction, helping adopt for the benefit of LaPorte County. In sum,
Next slide.
at the close of my report, it was prepared for the county commissioners and will provide it, of course, to the county council as well to summarize key grants, projects, other work done on behalf of the community and our citizens. It is an honor to serve our county. And we're here today, again, to express a desire to work collaboratively with all of you and with members of the county council as we move forward in 2021, trying to implement many of the priorities and goals that have been tasked to us by the elected officials in this county. And we appreciate that opportunity to present the report today.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. That was a very good in-depth report. Man, when you put it all together like that, we got a lot of work done.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Commissioner Brzezinski, is when you see it in some, it's kind of mind-boggling to realize we had so many projects going at the same time. And it truly is a team effort. I appreciate that Mr. Friedman
if you would
made
hold on
that
for just a minute,
mention
I would.
several times, because no one person or one group, small group of people can do it. It's everyone's responsibility and everyone's success. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the update, Mr. Friedman. If you don't mind, I have a follow-up question for while we have Mr. Friedman here under this report. Just for clarification's sake here, I know a lot of times you'll say you use the term "my office," and I'm curious. Sometimes it seems like when you use the term "my office," you're referring to the Office of County Attorney. Sometimes you're referring to yourself. Sometimes it sounds like you're referring to your office as far as your practice, Friedman and Associates.
Well, that's why we've got all three of us pictured at the end of the report, because it's important. As you know, in any entity, you rely on good paralegals, legal assistants. My two associates are also pictured here. For instance, Mr. Pichardo serves as the attorney to the Health Department. Ms. Nierenberg has been heavily involved in the creation, for instance, of the overweight truck ordinance and trying to put that enforcement mechanism together. So when I say my office, that's right, the Office of County Attorney, the Friedman Associates that serves.
Okay, so you're using that term then interchangeably, and I would like to shout out your associate, Mr. Pichardo. He's done amazing work with the election board as
Great,
well.
thank you.
I do have one more question in regards to the office itself. I see that last year there was about $400,000 in legal bills to the county, and then in addition about $94,000, roughly a total of about $494,000 in total from Friedman and Associates. Do you know breakdown-wise what that is between, because I know about 89,000 was POs, and I don't have that information right here in front of me.
I'm happy to provide that. I'm glad that you raised it, because I think it's important that the taxpayers know the bang that they're getting for the buck. In fact, the total amount billed by my office last year was $296,000 for 2020. That's composed of $163,518 for litigation and $132,789 for non-litigation. So the total is $296,307 for 2020. Now, I would say this to you as well, by way of comparison. It is still $83,000 less than the firm that was our predecessor firm that served in 2018. $83,000 less than the predecessor that was here in 2018. We billed a total in 2019 of $230,000, which was still $150,000 less than the predecessor firm. We bill a lower hourly, and as I say, even in 2020, Mr. Haney, so I'm glad you asked, because we are proud of providing the best bang for the buck, and as I say, the total bill is $296,000 for county attorney work. Now, the other amount that you're talking about has to do with public defenders. Okay, so that when you asked about the total amount, and I don't know where you came up with 450 or 500, the total amount on the 1099 to my firm was 408,468. And let's walk through it, because I know you want good, accurate information out there. $163,000 in litigation, $6,000 to the Health Department, Board of Commissioners of $132,000, the public defenders, and that's a separate account. Their deputy public defenders is $80,000, and then redevelopment commission of $26,184. Those are separate than county attorney.
Sure.
So that's why we want to compare apples to apples, and I know you want to be able to do that.
I do, absolutely.
It's important to have, and I want to repeat that figure again. The total amount of billings on county attorney matters for 2020 was $296,307, which was still $83,000 less than the predecessor firm billed in 2018.
Okay, I appreciate that. So the 408,468, you said that was 1099. That sounds like the number that I saw under the regular thing. The other 89, it was roughly 89,000, which may be the 80,000 here that you said for public defender. There was the other 89,000 to your firm was for what was listed as
Purchase orders.
Purchase orders. Yes, thank you, Mr. Auditor. Purchase orders. Are you
what?
sure? I don't know. It's listed under Friedman and Associates. If you pull it up in the Loud system, there's purchase orders for close to $90,000 to Friedman Associates. I'm not sure what those were. I was
Sometimes
curious.
what may happen is that there may be settlements that come into the clerk's office and that may be remitted, but I'm telling you what's been billed to the county, and that's exactly
Okay,
what.
so your office in total is billed $408,000 that falls under
I'm telling you what
1099.
the 1099 provides.
Okay, sure.
The 1099 is the definitive word in terms of what we.
Perhaps you could answer.
And I've just broken it down to you.
Sure.
I've broken it
Later,
down
since
to
you don't have it in
But-
front of you, Mr. Friedman, later, since you don't have it in front of you, if you could provide the commissioners with what the POs for that 80-some-odd
I have
thousand
no
dollars are.
idea what, you know what, maybe ask the auditor perhaps to provide that, because that did not.
Your office isn't able to provide us with an answer to those POs? If I give you a list up and out in a list, your office wouldn't be able to tell us what those are?
Certainly, the auditor has all the POs.
The auditor's in control
we
and
have-
possession
we
of
have
that. I'm telling you what we
have that in
got a
our systems.
1099 for.
We
okay?
do have it, that's correct.
Great, so I'm sure they'll provide it to us.
Yeah, the bulk of the POs, 80,000 out of the 96,000 was the public defender work, but the total amount paid to Freeman Associates last year was roughly $495,000, actually. That's the total amount paid out in checks, and, you know, we can document it. Obviously, all the paperwork was submitted properly, or we have all the
I would think
paperwork.
that the 1099 would reflect that, okay? And so the 1099 that we got is for 408,468. I'm simply going to walk through it again so that we've got it for the record.
That, if I may, that actually does match exactly the amount of the claims, but then there's another 87,000 worth of purchase orders also.
And that could be the
Mr.
public
Freeman.
defender.
It is the public defender. That's correct.
And
Joey's going to weigh in shortly.
Exactly, because
we appreciate you coming in. Part of this, we're in the weeds, and it's really
Absolutely.
difficult for you to answer without having your bookkeeper and your
Absolutely.
accountant with you. So
we simply go based on the 1099, and again, we're proud to report that even for bang for the buck, again, total billings at $296,307 for county attorney work in 2020, which was still less, $83,000 less than the predecessor firm. So we're pleased to report that, pleased to provide the overall report on activities that we do for the county, and again, looking forward to working with this group, the council, and other elected officials in 2021.
And then for your outside legal fees, when you refer things out to other firms, would that be better to go through the auditor's office?
There's no
I'm just
legal
curious.
fees, and I appreciate you raising that. I don't know where in the world that would come up.
I saw some bills and POs that came through for a law firm out of Indianapolis in reference to the D&M excavating site. They totaled about 6 months, about $45,000 that was paid out downstate in legal
Correct.
fees for that.
Yeah, Mr. Haney, we co-counsel and have successfully co-counseled with a number of firms over the years. We bring in the best of the best to win and prevail in various cases, but we're not paid a penny on those referrals.
No, I wasn't
No,
insinuating
but you
that
just
you
said there were referrals, referral fees.
No, I didn't say. I never said referral fees. What I said was for the legal work that you're refer out or whatever the case. I never said you were getting anything in return. I never said there were fees. What I said was, do you have any indication of how much that total is that's sent out of house?
The auditor's office will have a full list of what we do to co-counsel. That's how we win the cases. What I tell you what I do, and just so that we can be very clear on this, I know what I don't know. And frankly, the best county attorneys know when to bring in specialized expertise to co-counsel on various cases. That's how we've won class action cases, utility cases, and other cases for the county. So we tend to co-counsel with leaders in their field, Barnes and Thornburg, for instance, at redevelopment. The firm of Delaney and Delaney in Indianapolis on that class action. Mr. Keith Bell, for instance, on the D&M case. What we do is bring in expertise that helps us prevail because you want us to win more than anything else. And so what we're able to do is to bring in outstanding co-counsel, and again, that has helped us prevail on the various cases that we've had. But all of that in terms of the amounts paid to outside counsel is available by at the auditor's office.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Great. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Friedman, for your report. As not only as government officials, but also as taxpayers, that's always very good information there.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Treasurer.
if I could bring in, first of all, I apologize for my language. I have other people in my office. But anyway, I just wanted to explain why there's a difference in the amounts. Because in our now system, the top half of the ledger specifies all the claims. But then part of the claims also show up at the bottom, and those are the expedited claims. So you have to separate those two. And being only 2 months in the auditor's office, I'm sure Mr. Sabos didn't realize that. So when you look at the whole total, it would be around $404,000, not $494, as it seems. And I'd be happy to show Mr. Sabos that later after the meeting. But I just wanted to clarify that. It took me a while to learn how to read that system also. So I'm happy to impart my knowledge to him. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. That's good stuff to know. Yourself and some of those of us who have been around for a while that know how things work, you have to excuse the newly elected commissioner and auditor who've only been in their office for 60 days. A lot of this takes a long time to figure out, and so.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to clarify that to them if they'd like me to. At any time. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other department heads that would like to make a report today?
County Auditor, if I may, I'm not conceding Joey's point, but I welcome the opportunity to be shown something. Joey was incorrect when she stated the due date for the annual report at the last commissioner meeting. Let's hope she's right about this one.
Well, you know where her office is. Any other department heads? Seeing none.
Wait a second.
I'm sorry. This is Barb Mossman from the Human Resources Department.
Good job, Amanda.
Hope everybody's having a good day. I just wanted to make a point that the county is actively hiring for positions both at Community Corrections, Juvenile Services Center, the Highway Department, and I believe also the auditor's office. We recently put out a posting for a job there. So please visit the county's website, www.laporteco.in.gov/employment. We have an online application process there, and individuals can attach a resume if they would like. But we are actively hiring right now at this time and encourage everyone to apply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
That's good information. Any other department heads?
Yes. Amanda Landers, LaPorte County Health Department.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, good morning. Just to give you a quick update about everybody's other favorite subject, coronavirus, and let you know what we're doing. So as of this morning, the county is up to 10,000 positive cases, 10,055. We only had 12 new cases yesterday, which is nice to see that we're in the teens and we're not, where we've been. The fairgrounds is still going great. The vaccination clinic out there, we've vaccinated over 7,000 people. We've just started on those second doses. This will be our second or third week doing second doses. Ivy Tech last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the Indiana Department of Health sent up a mobile clinic and set up for 3 days, and they were able to get another 519 people vaccinated. They will be back in 3 weeks to do the second doses. We were contacted by the Indiana Department of Health again. I'm used to saying after all these years, ISDH, Indiana State Department of Health, so I have to verbally try to remember that it's IDOH now. We were contacted about the J&J Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and if we would be interested in taking it. And currently what we have right now is the Moderna vaccine out at the fairgrounds. We did say that we would take J&J. J&J is a 1 dose. We don't have to come back for a second shot. So we could have that. We don't know when we're getting it. It could be as early as this Friday, or it could be next week sometime, and they did not tell us what we would be getting. The thing with J&J, though, it has a much longer, up to a 2-year shelf life in the freezer. So we don't have to get it in an arm the next day. So hopefully we'll get more clarification today or tomorrow about when we can expect that and exactly how many doses we'll be getting and how we can best get that out to the community and which population it'll serve best. Also is just announced, and it did go out last week to doctors, and the state's letting us know now they contacted the doctors about a special group of high needs patients that can now receive the vaccine with outside the age range. So patients who are active in cancer treatment, patients who are active dialysis patients, sickle cell, solid organ transplant, and those with Down syndrome can get registered through their doctor's office, get that registration process started to be able to receive their vaccine regardless of age. And they want people going through their doctor's office to get that registration just because of all the other medications and treatments that these specific groups receive. They want to make sure that it's going to be safe for them to get that vaccine. So that's why that group of people have to go through their doctors to get registered. But that's exciting, that's happy, that's good. We're moving in the right direction, we're getting more vaccine. And also later today, don't go on our shot right now, but later today, because it won't work, but later today they're going to release that those 50 years and older can now register for the vaccine. So that's what I have.
So Amanda, could you just for the record announce that 55 years and older was announced yesterday, and so you're intimating that they will continue to roll that forward?
Yes, 55 yesterday. This afternoon will be 50. They didn't want to, it's a huge number of people in Indiana in that age group, and they didn't want to inundate the system at once because we know how there's been problems with that system and the numbers hitting them. So this afternoon, it will be at 50 plus after the governor's address at 1:30 Central Time today. They will open that up to 50 plus.
That's fabulous news.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you. I really like your shirt. I'm jealous.
Anybody else have any questions there?
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. Do we have any other department heads who would like to make a report at this time? Make yourself known. Going once, twice. Okay, moving along. For request, consider permission to approach the council for funding for renewal of the interagency contract. Larry Butcher, EMA. Mr. Butcher. I don't hear Mr. Butcher. Is he here?
Mr. President, Mr. Butcher, I believe, for the doctor's appointment, so I'm standing here in his place.
Okay, good. Would you like to give us some information on that?
Yeah, so LaPorte County is part of the District Planning Commission for the state of Indiana. So LaPorte County, along with Porter County, Lake County, Newton County, and Jasper County, are all in agreement in a group that we have a set of assets that we take care of that can be used can be requested by any town, township, city, or the county as well, that we can request these assets to be used in our county. And for years, Porter County has taken upon themselves to keep those assets running. However, a few years back, they were unable to do that, so now they've been asking for each county to contribute $3,000 towards the upkeep of this equipment, which includes the gas, which includes tires, batteries, regular maintenance. And they do a very good job of doing that. For several years, we've approached the council and they've approved for us to pay that $3,000. Last year, with everything the way it was, it kind of got pushed off till the end of the year, and we actually went from the council and asked for, since we had money left over in our training, that we transferred that money over and we paid it out of our account. However, we would like to approach the council again to get the money paid not out of our account, so that way it doesn't, we're not losing money out of our account for it. But in addition, it requires a signature by the commission to approve to be in part of this agreement.
Okay, thanks for the explanation clarification there, Jeff. So you're looking for permission to approach the council. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve EMA going to the council for funding for the interagency contract that Jeff just explained. And thank you, Jeff, for that explanation.
Thank you, Jeff. Second.
A motion and a second on that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Next on the agenda, consider 25 unused sick days for retiring employee Mike Poland, who now is the building commissioner.
Good morning, commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have a longtime employee in my office that's been with us since 2001 who is retiring, and I'm asking permission to pay up to 25 sick days for this individual.
So moved.
Yeah.
Support.
You've heard the motion that's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.
Would you thank her for her service
Yeah.
on behalf of the commission and respectfully wish her the very, very best in her retirement?
You bet, I sure will, and I will extend that on behalf of the commissioners.
Please do.
And I'm lucky, I feel honored to be the third building commissioner that she has served under.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poland.
Thank you, Mike. Next on the agenda, consider permission to approach the council for the purchase of 2 ambulances, 1 sport vehicle, and loose equipment. Andy McGuire, EMS Administrator.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Would it be okay if we took care of under old business number or letter A at the same time as well? Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay. So on February 17th, we received sealed bids for 2 ambulances from North Central and Fire Services. Fire Services had an alternate bid for a stock ambulance that was grossly different from our spec. It was rejected due to that fact. Fire Services bid based on our actual spec came in at $470,582. I'm sorry, let me correct that. $470,886 is what their bid came in at, which is $29,239 higher than North Central. So along with being $30,000 higher, they also took several exceptions, and in addition to that, our committee highlighted 12 discrepancies within their bid that we would need clarification on before moving forward with that company. So at this time, I'm recommending awarding the bid to North Central based on being the lowest qualifying bid and only taking 2 exceptions, with both of those exceptions being just clarifications on metal thickness. So in addition to the 2 ambulances, we are also looking to replace a 2006 GMC Yukon with 113,529 miles on it. So the first quote we got for that Yukon, or for the replacement of the Yukon, was from Kelly Chevrolet for a 2021 Special Services Tahoe at a price of $38,900. So Kelly Chevrolet is out of Fort Wayne. They were able to give us a state bid pricing. They also gave us a trade-in value for that 2006 Yukon, which is in kind of rough shape, of $2,100 trade-in value. So we did attempt to get other quotes from other dealerships, as we normally do, and a lot of the dealerships, once we told them what type of vehicle we're going after, they knew that Kelly gets a state bid, they get the lowest price, and that they can't really touch that price. So a lot of them refused to give us a quote for that vehicle. So I do have 1 quote, and that's from Kelly Chevrolet. So at this time, I'm requesting permission to approach the council for the 2 ambulances, the 1 support vehicle, and the necessary loose equipment for these vehicles.
And Mr. McGuire, as I talked to you about this a little bit as well, and the actual ambulance that came in lower was pretty much exactly what you wanted, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
and we've
excellent.
worked with that company for the last 3 years. We know them pretty well. We're satisfied with their work. And like I said, they only took 2 exceptions, and it's just to clarify some metal thickness. So they're right on our specs. So.
Excellent, thank you.
I move
the
to,
explanation, can we have I would entertain a motion?
yeah, I move to approve the commission allowing Andrew McGuire for EMS to approach the council for the purchase of 2 ambulances, a support vehicle, and some ancillary equipment.
I would second that.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. And then for request to move down to old business for Andrew, consider ambulance bid recommendations for EMS vehicles.
Yeah, so the recommendation at this time would be for North Central, based on the fact that they're the lowest qualifying bid and the fact they only took 2 exceptions.
Got it.
Do we need a separate motion for that?
Yes, if you would, so that you're accepting the North Central bid recommendation as a separate part of the motion.
Okay, so move to accept that.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Right,
Thank you, Andrew. Next on our agenda, consider request to seek bids for 13 vehicles with permission to trade 17 used vehicles. John Barrett, Sheriff.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We are here this morning to seek permission to seek bids for replacement vehicles and also to trade vehicles. Specifically, what we're looking for is we're looking for a total of 13 new vehicles that we're seeking bids for. I'll break them down as follows. We need 9 vehicles for patrol, and we're looking specifically for 2021 models that are all-wheel drive sport utility style vehicles. In addition to that, we're looking for 3 2021 special service 4x4 quad cab pickup trucks. And we're also looking for 1 3/4 ton Chevrolet or GMC jail van. And when I'm specific about GMC or Chevrolet, ordinarily we don't name the manufacturer when we're seeking bids, but we're doing this because for jail vans we have what's called an insert, and it's a prefabricated, it's very expensive, in which it's the compartment that allows us to seat and secure the inmates when we're transporting them, and it's designed so the heating and air conditioning and electrical system, it can slide out of an old vehicle and can slide right back in, and it's very expensive. So we're looking to match the body style of the vehicle that we currently have that we're trading, so we can remove that insert and slide it right into that vehicle without having to have a new one manufactured and fabricated for us. We're also looking to trade 17 old vehicles. And of those 17 vehicles, 2 of course include 2 vehicles that the Commissioner's office has said that they would like us to trade in as part of our trade package.
Thank you. Nice to hear about the cost saving with the insert. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We need a motion then to let him go to the council with that.
I move to allow the sheriff to approach the council for the bids regarding replacement of vehicles and trade-in of vehicles.
I would second that. I'd also say I was at the Sheriff's Garage yesterday speaking with some of the folks out there and talking to some of the work that you guys are doing to keep your current vehicles up to speed and on fleet. And also they mentioned there's the larger suburban SUV that one of your guys is going to be stepping over into a crew cab. Yes. With a topper on it to allow him to better facilitate the movement of his stuff, and that those 2 pickup truck crew cabs are going to cost about the same as that larger vehicle. So that's great forward thinking there. We really appreciate all the diligence you've done on this, and your team, and the Sheriff's Garage as well for helping explain some of that to me yesterday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, and that was a second, yes.
We have a motion and a second on that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next under old business, consider awarding bid for community crossings paving project for Fair Road, Severs Road, Mitch Bishop, the planner.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hey, Mitch.
Hi there.
As you are aware, last Commissioner meeting, you opened 2 bids for the community crossings project, the paving of Severs and Fair Road. The 2 bidders are Walsh and Kelly, Reef and Riley. I reviewed the bids, I created bid tabulations, and I recommend we sign Walsh and Kelly. Their bid was $1,741,155.54.
You've heard the recommendation from the planner. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I would second. Could you tell us what the price on the other bid was? Do you have that in front of you by chance?
The price of the other bid?
Yeah, just for the record.
Actually, I do not.
But it was higher.
That it was roughly $85,000 difference between Walsh and Kelly and Lisa Riley.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to new business, consider opening bids for bituminous and paving. Dwayne Werner, Highway Superintendent.
Yeah, would you open?
I assume you have the bid.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, this is our, for our annual bid of asphalt paving for this year, and then also our liquid asphalt, which we use for our chip sealing program.
Thank you.
There are two classes of bid, and the first is a Class 11 bid, timely received by the Clink Group. As I recall with bituminous, we don't read out all the classes since there are multiple classes. We simply indicate whether in fact the bid is complete and timely received, and then provide those because there are multiple categories on each of the respective bids. They've got the non-collusion affidavit. I would reflect the Clink Group is received on a Class 11. Central Paving on a Class 11, bid bond enclosed. And again, the breakdown by the various classes, contract amounts. Another Class 11 bid, timely received from Asphalt Materials of Indianapolis. Bid bond contained, and again, timely received from Asphalt Materials of Indianapolis. I think those are the three on Class 11. Put those up there. Our two bids for hot asphalt, Class 12 hot asphalt. First, from Reith Riley. And I believe in the Has Asphalt, we've read the cover page before.
Correct, I believe so, yes.
Okay. On the Hat Asphalt, the base bid is a Type B binder mix, $43.44. Type B surface mix, $47.75. Alternate bid, Type B base mix, $49. Type B surface mix per ton, $55. Type B surface mix per ton, $59. Type C binder mix per ton, $51. Type C surface mix per ton, $63. Fog spray, 15 cents per foot, and joint seal adhesive per foot, $1. Again, Reith Riley bid timely received with the bid bond contained. And the last, the second receipt of hot asphalt Class 12, timely received from Milestone Contractors north of South Bend, Indiana. Bid bond surety received. The cover page provides their base bid for 2021, a Type B binder mix at $50.15 a ton. Type B surface mix, $53.65 a ton. Alternate bid, Type B base mix at $50.15 a ton. Type B surface mix, $52.65. Type B surface mix, $60. That's a number 12. Type B. Number 8, Type C binder mix, $56 a ton. Type C surface mix, $62 a ton. Fog spray, they quoted at 10 cents a linear foot. Joint seal at 70 cents a linear foot. I would ask the commission to show the bids as received and turned over to the department head for a recommendation to you.
So moved, Mr. President.
Will entertain that motion?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor, that's say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Dwayne, while you're there,
Yes.
where are we at on the frost law? I know you and I talked about that. Have we posted that?
Yes, it was currently posted last Friday. As we've been monitoring it every day, we're hopeful that we might be, tentatively, we're looking at next week with this warmer weather. It has been warming up. Roads are very soft at this time. In the evenings, it's been getting a little more cooler, where it's more frozen, so the frost is taking a little longer than what we would like to see come out of the ground, but sometimes that works out better where the roads do not stress as bad. So tentatively as is now, our frost laws are in effect. If you have any questions, feel free to call our office. Our girls are very informed on how to handle that. We do have a new process this year of going online for permitting, so everything's very new, and you know how it is with new things. Everybody's has to adjust, and we're dealing with it, but it's working very well at this time. So tentatively, we're planning on looking at this frost law first thing of next week, and then monitoring it then, and then determining when we'll take that back out.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much, sir, Dwayne.
Thank you. And also, these will be available for review outside. Typically, we do that with our vendors, so they're available.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, consider Lincoln Trail Extension Project contract for right-of-way acquisition services and permission to approach the council for matching funds. Mitch Bishop, planner.
Good evening. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Yeah.
It's been a long morning.
It was morning.
So, as you are aware, I think 2 or 3 years ago, the county received $2.1 million to support the Lincoln Trail Extension Project, which was basically a 2-mile extension of the existing trail system, and it would terminate just west of Purdue, northwest, and their southernmost access at 421. Within this past 2 years, they've been, the contractors actually, engineers been doing work in regards to design work for the project and securing an environmental document. This would be the second phase in the project. Right-of-way services would look more at acquisition, buying services, appraisals, review appraisals, etc., negotiation. And that's going to commence in roughly 5 or 6 months. The second phase of the project cost $369,720. That's 80% of that is covered, of course, by the $2.1 million federal grant. But the 20% would be covered locally. So that's the reason why I need to go to council for that money. Now that 20% of the $369 is $73,994. I do have commitments both from PNW and LaPorte County Parks Foundation for $50,000, $25,000 apiece. But PNC's donation is going to the construction phase of the project. So that would leave me with an asset of council of $48,994. And I just ask for your support on this ongoing project. It'd be a great asset to the community. It connects the town of Westfield to PNW to many subdivisions along the way, including Boone Park and Lincoln, the existing Lincoln Trail. So, any questions?
No, good work though. As usual, you're the master of getting grants. He needs permission to go to the council with this. Would you entertain a motion at this time?
Mr. President, I would move to approve this contract right-of-way and acquisition service permission for matching funds of $48,000 some, and also calling out that Mitch has done a really good job of reaching out to other stakeholders so that they can help us meet our goal, and that's getting this trail completed. So thanks, Mitch, for that.
And thank you for your support there, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you, Mitch, in a second.
Have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, Mitch, then this next on the agenda, consider Lincoln Trail Extension Project amendment to include items originally on right-of-way acquisition services contract, preferred NP contract.
Right. So this is more of a bookkeeping problem, but you'll see there's contract amendment number 2. So there's portions of that right-of-way contract that you just approved that can be done in the preliminary engineering phases. And so what this recognizes is, are those phases, are those tasks that can be performed under the existing preliminary engineering contract that the engineering is performing right now. Engineers are performing currently, and it's total of that 369,000, there's 59,100. And but NDOT recommends I move that to the PE contract, so that's what's before you now. So a portion of that, 369,000, exactly 59,100, I'm asking that it be moved to the existing engineering contract that we have and we've had for the last 2 years. So I just need a motion for that approval.
Gotcha.
Any questions?
Well, thanks for your explanation on that.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second to let Mitch go to the council with that. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, consider resolution in support of educators receiving priority vaccinations by ISDH as requested by the county school superintendents. I think you're all aware of what we've been talking about with that.
Mr. President, may I read this into the record? And I guess I would like to do that because I am a holder of a life license in the state of Indiana as a teacher. I taught English language arts, and to me, our teachers are our frontline staff. Our certified staff are our frontline workers, as are the school support staff. And I think this, while the vaccine age limits continue to come down, and we're hearing that today it may be 50 and older that can receive the vaccine, there are many support staff, certified staff, and teaching staff in our schools across this county who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I believe it's this commission's intent to show our support for those individuals, but also to encourage our governor and the state Department of Health to allow them as first responders, as frontline staff, working with all the families and children across this county to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. So may I read this into the record, please?
Yes, please do.
Okay, thank you. Resolution of the LaPorte County Board of Commission, whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has forced many school districts to replace in-person classroom instruction with virtual instruction, and whereas virtual instruction is no substitute for in-person classroom instruction, and whereas certified school staff, teachers, and school support staff should be identified as critical because of the vital role they play in the education and development of our state's children, and whereas vaccinating certified school staff, teachers, and school support staff must not take away any vaccine supply from other critical workers and individuals, and whereas it is imperative that we return students to in-person instruction as quickly and safely as possible while providing a safe environment for our certified school staff, teachers, and school support staff, and whereas this body has worked closely with the LaPorte County Council and LaPorte County Health Department to ramp up a vaccination clinic at the LaPorte County Fairgrounds and has provided weekly conference calls to enhance collaboration and cooperation among all stakeholders in our county as we collectively seek to battle this pandemic. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners that, number one, we ask our local legislators to prevail on the Indiana State Department of Health to place school employees in the Phase 1A vaccination group, and number two, in the absence of a move of such employees into such group, ensure that all school employees are placed on call lists for surplus vaccines on hand at COVID-19 Phase 1A vaccination clinics approved this day of March. And I'm hoping that we can unanimously support this.
Thank you very much. You made a motion to accept that?
A motion to accept.
Was that seconded?
I would just like to point out on here, there's an important part on here where it says, must not take away any vaccine supply from other critical workers and individuals. I think as Commissioner Mateus noted earlier, we have teachers in their 20s and 30s. It's important to remember, as we enter, I think this is week 51 of 14 days to flatten the curve. The ultimate goal here is to save lives. It's not just simply vaccinate people. The ultimate goal here is to save lives. And this is the crucially important part that I think sometimes can get lost in the process. Right now we have a vaccine shortage in the nation and in the state, and obviously here in the county. And it's important to make sure that in a resolution like this, we make sure that we have to stress that we must not take away any vaccine supply from other critical workers and individuals, and specifically those that are most at risk. As we're looking to drop from 55 to 50 this afternoon, it is significantly more dangerous for someone in their 50s who contracts COVID. They have a significantly higher chance of dying than someone in their 20s and 30s. And I think it's important we don't take anything out of context. Our teachers are extremely important, and we want to make sure we protect our teachers. At the same time, so are our children. I have 3 children of my own. But again, we're recognizing that the ultimate goal here should be saving lives. And that's why there's some hesitancy here, and I want to stress before we vote on this, that section, whereas it must not take away any vaccine supply from any critical individuals.
With that, did I hear a second?
Yes.
All in favor of the motion for the resolution, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. And last item on here is to consider appointment of Reverend Nate Laux to the Public Defender Board, which I think is an excellent choice.
Right.
Nate is a good man.
Mr. President, I move to consider the appointment, to approve the appointment of Reverend Nate Laux to the Public Defender Board. As you were just mentioning, he is a community leader and advocate for those underrepresented and those in need, and just a terrific human being. So he's a great selection, and I would move that this board approve that.
A second.
Motion and seconded to appoint Nate Laux to the Public Defender Board. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, thank you very much. Seeing nothing left on the agenda.
Mr. President, you said earlier, I know it didn't get officially added to the agenda, but you indicated earlier that we wanted to clarify our position for our public meetings. I don't know if you're still willing to entertain that. Just to clarify our position on public meetings, so the public knows we had members of the public here today who were here, which is fine, which is good. I think it's a good thing. We can socially distance. We're down into yellow. At the same time, there are members of the public who are confused as to our official position on when, if, and how members of the public can attend, including the media. And as you notice, we don't have media here again today. There's some confusion as well with that, so I feel like we should clarify that while we have an opportunity.
You're very hard to hear, but I believe you're asking about the public comment?
No.
Public meetings,
No.
The public attending county meetings.
Right, yeah, I wanted to bring that up, because I've been getting calls about opening, when are the meetings going to open up, and especially too, from Bruce wants to know about opening up the museum.
Right.
I think that, as we've stated before, we're hoping to get a lot more people vaccinated before we have full access to our county offices. But and as far as the museum, I don't know. Well, I would like to entertain your thoughts, like to hear what you have to say about that.
Mr. President, I read the communication from the museum director, and it sounds like they have an exhibit that they're very excited about, and they need to do some pre-work around that. I think that the museum is an example of a place where if they properly socially distance and insist on masks until we get our vaccination rate up, I think that probably would be safe. What I do hope around the county meetings in general, regardless of whether we open, we've vote to open today, which I think is a little bit too soon. I think we should re-look at that, completely opening the buildings at our first meeting in April. But I would say that I would request that we make sure that the Zoom access to meetings for all county meetings is continued post-COVID. As long as it's allowed by the Public Access Counselor, I think that it has encouraged people to be involved. It has encouraged transparency in county government by allowing people who may not have access to transportation or may not have the ability to get here in time, they're able to participate, to listen, and to know more about what we're doing on their behalf as county elected officials. So I would request that no matter when we open up meetings, that we continue to allow the public to access our meetings through Zoom.
Mr. President, if I could also interpose, there is a bill moving through the legislature that will allow, or that would allow, continued Zoom access. It's got to be done by statute, so we'll keep the commission updated on the status of that. I should also note the governor has signed an executive order allowing Zoom meetings to continue certainly through the month of March. Okay. So, attending by Zoom is the same as attending in person in the eyes of the governor in that executive order, but that authority at least continues through March 31st.
Excellent. Thank you for pointing that out. Did you have a comment on that, Commissioner Haney?
on the whole
Yes.
thing?
Yes, that was exactly what I was saying. I'm sorry you weren't able to, the connection wasn't good, you weren't able to hear me. Yes, so I would like to see if it's amenable to the board to allow the city of LaPorte, 3-4 weeks ago, opened their meetings back up to the public with social distancing being able to be maintained. We have a large room here. Today, there are actually quite a few people here, and members of the public as well. So I would like to see us officially reopen our meetings to the public, adhering to social guidelines with an encouragement that if you don't necessarily have to be here in person, that you attend via Zoom so that we can help maintain social distancing while we're here. And I would make that motion.
You're making a motion to open the meetings now?
With social distancing guidelines enhanced, yes, because we do have members of the public that are coming, and we did hear today that are attending anyway. And there are members of the media who continue to ask me, can we come? And I said, well, officially, we don't have a policy on that. And, as you've seen, we still, again, today don't have members of the media actually here present who would like to attend in person. So I think at a minimum, at least allowing the media to attend in person would be at a minimum at this step appropriate.
So you want to open the meeting to allow media?
To allow media and members of the public to socially distance with an encouragement for those to attend remotely via Zoom if they're able to.
So, Mr. President, it sounds like the only change then, since we already had said, we prefer you to if you can, call in or join us via Zoom. That's the preferred method of participation. But it sounds then the only change immediately is to continue that preference and then to ask the media to return to coming in person if that is their choice. Is that pretty? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah.
And then perhaps we can go in the first meeting of April, we can relook at this, depending obviously on what the governor, if the governor has another order around Zoom or whatever happens in the state legislature. We may have some new facts at that time. So I think that would be something I could support.
I think that would be responsible. Okay, that's your motion and your second then?
Yes.
Yes, I can second that.
Okay, all in favor of that say aye.
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 Thank you very much. Nothing else to add to the agenda. We're down to commissioner comments. Vice President, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, thank you. I want to start out with the some of our COVID milestones here. I'm not going to repeat what Amanda Lanners said. She covered most of that very well. We are in yellow. Yeah. I think we covered a little bit the last time. We had some delays from some of our. Can you hear me all right? Okay, sorry. So we had some delays from some of our previous, I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. I feel like I'm talking pretty loud here, but we had some delays with some of our previous vaccines that came in due to the storms. All those doses were given in appropriate follow-up time frame. None of those were lost once we got to them. Again, that was not the fault of our local health department. They did an amazing job with that curveball that was thrown at them, and as far as I'm concerned, they hit it out of the park once again. We wish Mr. Mancuso a happy retirement as well as he set sail on his retirement. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm so proud of our health department, the tireless work that they've put in, as well as the unwavering support of our various other departments that have helped to facilitate their mandate. Likewise, their hard work there can't be understated. Last weekend I was at the Michigan City, the mobile clinic that was there from the Indiana Department of Health, and the Indiana National Guard was there as well, helping to facilitate that. That's their current active orders for their group. Members from all over the state. They did an amazing job there. It was nice to see everybody working together and how well that clinic filled out. Really happy about that as well. Earlier last week, I sent out an email that was originally intended just to go to the commissioners and council, as well as to the council and county attorney. It wound up getting forwarded outside of the email chain to other parties by our county attorney, and thus that's how it wound up on the agenda for and got read into the record for the council. Unfortunately, I haven't received a response to my letter from either the county attorney or either of my fellow commissioners, and I feel it's appropriate to read that into the record now. Dear commissioners, fellow commissioners, it is becoming abundantly clear to me that the issues relating from the lawsuit Mr. Friedman has filed against the auditor are affecting his judgment, demeanor, and ability to impartially execute the duties of county attorney. Over the past 2 months, Mr. Friedman has offered us bad legal advice and attempted to exert undue influence over members of the commission and council. Furthermore, Mr. Friedman continues to flagrantly attempt to question the abilities and conduct of the auditor in his official capacity, as well as in addition to that, the entirety of the Office of Auditor, most recently over an AT&T phone bill that Treasurer Winsky so aptly explained. This latest attack by Mr. Friedman on the county auditor was blatantly personal and unfounded. Mr. Friedman attempts to paint this lawsuit as personal in nature, but has multiple times brought county officials, department heads, and the entirety of our county employees who have access to email into this debacle. Mr. Friedman has attempted to stifle our comments, those of us who are elected officials, in regards to this lawsuit by making outlandish claims such as saying, quote, because this is pending litigation, you're unable to comment on any of the claims. The idea that I, Council President Novak, or any of us wouldn't be able to defend ourselves in the sphere of public opinion by allegations and claims made by Mr. Friedman is outrageous. Doubly so because this lawsuit is allegedly against Mr. Stabos personally, and as such, allegedly wouldn't involve the county. With it appearing that the entirety of the charges Mr. Friedman alleges against the auditor in his suit are not older than January 1st, 2021, and because the multiple attacks Mr. Friedman has made against Mr. Stabos in his official capacity, it is my opinion that Mr. Friedman is attempting to play both sides of this issue by claiming the suit is personal and has, as such, himself leveled charges directly against the auditor in his official capacity. It is therefore my opinion that Mr. Friedman has demonstrated on multiple occasions that he is incapable of discharging his duties as county attorney in an impartial manner and should step down immediately until this matter has been fully resolved and adjudicated. Signed, Joe Haney, Commissioner, District 3, Vice President, LaPorte County Board of Commissioners. If you're going to be required to do things that make you weak or ashamed, then stop. Don't do them. That is such a simple yet amazingly powerful statement. I'm going to somewhat quote and paraphrase Dr. Peterson here. Systems go terribly out of control when people who don't stop them, when they're going mildly out of control. There's so much going out of control in the bureaucratic world, and that's where all the tyranny seems to be focused. And for some reason, that it multiplies because sensible people say nothing when they should say something. You have to ask yourself on a daily basis, what makes you think you're not selling your soul? He goes on to say, you have an ethical responsibility as a citizen to forthrightly confront creeping tyranny no matter where it occurs. He then poses the question, why should you speak up? That's easy. The questions of not speaking up, although delayed, are far worse. That's the reason. If it can't be courage, it could at least be prudence. In my position, I would take that a step further. I not only have an ethical responsibility as a citizen, but as a commissioner, I took an oath and I swore to, quote, faithfully, impartially, and diligently discharge the duties of the office of county commissioner. That's why. That's why in previous meeting I called out the deceit, the lies, and the things that are happening that I see as wrong. On a daily basis, on this dais and via Zoom from Florida, we have decades and decades of political experience. Combined, this totals longer than I've been alive. In the third week of January, when the county attorney told me to assume the, quote, assume the best of intentions of my fellow commissioners, he knew they were lying. He called out my inexperience. In fact, he made a quip something like, Commissioner Mrzinski has 13 years on the RDC. You've got 13 days. He's absolutely right. Not about the RDC, of course. Commissioner Mrzinski had only had 1 year as commissioner on the RDC, and I was replacing Commissioner Cora, who was on the RDC for the 2 years immediately preceding me. But as for experience as a politician, yes, I am unexperienced. And like the proverbial frog, instead of being tossed into a pot of boiling water, I was tossed into a vat of filth. You're absolutely right. I was shocked to my core. I am shocked to my core. You expect me to sit on my hands and do nothing? To go along to get along? I will not compromise my morals, my values, or my dignity. And for what? Just because I'll be outvoted 2-1? Because you threatened to put me in a smaller office? Right? That's part of how they attempted to control me. They don't have any dirt on me, so they attempt to silence me by threatening to put me in a smaller office. I mean, why now? Make no mistake, my issues are not on some simple policy disagreement. People disagree in politics all the time. There are different positions on either side. We work through them, we negotiate. I am opposed to the deception, the deceit, and the outright lies being put forth to the public. This is wrong, period. Ian said there can be no compromise on basic principles. There can be no compromise on moral issues, and there can be no compromise on matters of knowledge, of truth, and of rational conviction. Unlike the county attorney, who basically ordered Commissioner Mrzinski to forward an email to all county users, I will not use the county email service to invade the workspace of our county employees on this. But to every county employee listening to this meeting right now or in the future, let me be absolutely clear and let there be no doubt, I will not be silenced and I will not be intimidated. Alessandra Clark wrote, "One person can't make a difference, not alone. But if one person stands against evil and others stand with them, they will make all the difference." I will stand up, and I am standing up for the people of LaPorte County, and I will continue to stand up for the employees of LaPorte County. Talk to me, call me, send me a message. Tell me what's happened to you, to your coworkers. Tell me about the things you've been forced to do. If you're a former employee or department head, I will listen. I will take your comments in confidence if you wish, and I will shut this down. Susie Cassim said, "I would rather die fighting than live passively amidst all that is wrong." To everyone watching now, those watching later on Alco or on YouTube, I will stand for you, I will fight for you, and I will not succumb, I will not be intimidated. I'm done, and I'm putting all of you here on notice. The culture of fear, the culture of oppression, the retribution, it is over. I said not on my watch, and I meant it. I've been all over this county, in buildings and offices no commissioners have set foot in for 20 plus years. I hear the pleas and the desperations of our employees. This ends now. I want to read to you something a senior official sent to the county council. This letter, if you want to verify the veracity of it for an open records request, which I'm sure the media will most likely want to do, was sent to, looks like all of the county councilmen, including Councilman Novak at his county email address. I won't read off the other personal email addresses that are listed here. The subject here is Report to Friedman's Letter. This email is from Richard Mrzinski. After reading the rant from Mr. Friedman, I find it necessary to set the record straight as there are many errors contained in his letter. I'm not going to read the entire email, but for brevity, he talks about the Swanson Center. He says, quote, Swanson Center money laundering. The Swanson Center pays Winston & Terrell a large amount of money as a lobbying firm. Quote, their contribution to the political campaigns in LaPorte County are public records. Quote, only those candidates chosen by Mr. Friedman receive these funds. Quote, taxpayer money is funding Mr. Friedman's candidates. Quote, Mr. Friedman has lied to me and about me.
Sir, could you identify who's the source of this? You're reading a litany of accusations, including...
Correct. I'm pleased to provide your office with a copy of this.
You know what you don't understand?
No, Mr. Friedman, I am speaking, please do not interrupt me.
But he's just defamed Swanson Center.
I am quoting Richard Mrzinski right here in this email, and you are more than, I will give you a copy. You are more than welcome to submit your own Freedom of Information request to get this email off the county server.
Okay, that's fine. And I certainly don't want to interrupt you, but I want to indicate to you, I would suggest that you filter anything past an attorney before you read allegations.
Mr. Friedman, let's let him finish. He's decided to
let go. And the fellow commissioners can go. Thank you. Mr. Mrzinski goes on to say, quote, I remember a time when the attorney sat there, never said anything unless he was asked a legal question. Now I see Mr. Friedman pretty much running the meetings. He ends his letter with, I attended a department head meeting where Mr. Friedman ran the entire show. He has given himself a lot of power, and there are so few challenging him. When I look back at the previous meeting and I went back and I watched the second meeting of the year, Mr. Friedman was complicit in a lie about the Scrivener's errors. Community corrections, as one example, was a blatant lie. He specifically asked for Commissioner Mrzinski to be removed and replaced by Commissioner Tias because of a discrimination charge that was filed. I won't get into the details of that as that is ongoing. Mr. Friedman uses insults, slurs, and derogatory verbiage and phrases toward both elected officials, department heads, and employees on nearly a weekly weekly basis, not only verbally, but in texts and emails. Mr. Friedman has attempted to undermine the authority and morale of a newly elected auditor by accosting his chief deputy, in part stating, "You went from working from one radical to another." This isn't just insubordinate behavior from an employee, which the county attorney is. This is grossly inappropriate behavior. The county attorney should be ashamed of himself, and he owes the auditor, chief deputy auditor, and Director Brown an apology. Given the totality of the behavior, demeanor, and incompetence exercised by the county attorney that has now been demonstrated on multiple occasions in just these past 2 months, I believe his office is incapable of discharging the duties of county attorney, and I move that the contract with Friedman Associates for county attorney be immediately terminated for cause.
Are you done, sir?
I am not, but I would assume that motion fails for lack of a second.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. My fellow commissioners haven't responded to any of my to my letter for Mr. Friedman to step down at all. Mr. Friedman hasn't responded for the letter that I sent to him to step down, nor has his office. I have to wonder if something has changed. Has Commissioner Brzezinski perhaps been threatened? I don't understand what's going on here. I won't be intimidated, and Commissioner Brzezinski, you shouldn't be either. You're not alone here. How do you go from, in this email, accusing the county attorney of controlling meetings and funneling, quote, did you say, funneling taxpayer money to his candidates, to now simply proclaiming his virtues? But stand up. Don't be afraid. If you're being controlled, break free. If you need to, simply resign and stay down in Florida if you have to. Or better yet, stand with me and put an end to this insanity once and for all. You know, Mahatma Gandhi said, it's the action, not the fruit of the action that's important. You have to do the right thing. It may not be in your power, it may not be in your time that there will be any fruit. But that doesn't mean you stop doing the right thing. You may never know what results come from your action. But if you do nothing, there will be no result. And I'll close with this. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King: the time is always right to do what is right. And I implore all of you to do what is right.
Now are you done?
Yes, thank you for allowing me to finish.
Perhaps we should change the agenda from Commissioner comments to Commissioner rants. Commissioner Mateus?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I wanted to give a brief report on the work at the FMEC, and while I was requested by Mr. Haney to give up my appointment to that, and I said sure, I'm still involved in the FMEC, and I will continue when I'm able to attend the meetings. But I did want to call out Susie Carpenter and the marketing committee and the group in general, because they have worked really hard on moving forward on marketing, on bringing the Fair Board in and making sure that we're being really welcoming and transparent about our joint efforts. I've been working with Susie and with Randy Novak on the mission statement, the vision, and some of the marketing materials. And so I just wanted to make sure that the community knows we are moving forward on our work to bring the fairgrounds into a 12-month operation. Obviously, weather is a problem, but we want the fairgrounds to hold on to the heritage of the LaPorte County Fair and our agricultural history, but also make it a place where families and others feel very welcome during the 12 months of the year. It can be eventually a revenue producer if we are able to host events there, but in the meantime, we are focusing on keeping a focus on youth and family and a well-rounded experience for our guests who come to the fairgrounds. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that that was happening. I also wanted to make sure that we welcomed Eric at the animal shelter. This is he's just started his new position. He's been with the animal shelter for a very long time. He brings a lot of talent, and of course he has been tutored well by our former director, Jane Bernard. So Eric, we welcome you and know that you're going to do a terrific job. And another item, I did spend some time on the phone with Marissa Lynch, our consultant in working on behalf of LaPorte County in Indianapolis. She shared with me just how important it is for LaPorte County to have our place at the table in discussions about gaming revenue, and she's working very closely with our legislative team, particularly Senator Bohacek and Representative Pressel, on making sure that we as a county have our gaming revenue protected and that we are advocating for a fair share of the gaming revenue. As you may know, I have a lot of experience in working with the Gaming Commission, having been the one who was representing LaPorte County to fight for that license. While it was some years ago, I still follow very carefully the way the gaming revenue is used in this county and whether we are keeping our word that it's to be used for the betterment of this community. And so the conversation I had with Marissa was very reinforcing the fact that LaPorte County has worked hard to get us in the position we are in as gaming has opened back up. We want to be sure that our fair share of the gaming revenues are protected for the LaPorte County citizens and for the betterment of the community. Before I sign off, I guess I think I really have to speak out. First of all, I have never been threatened. I have never been threatened. I've been in government, in and out of government. You may remember I started in the 80s. I was a city council member in Michigan City for 2 terms. I then followed up with 2 terms as mayor. I left politics and I came back when I came back to LaPorte County after a brief departure. I came back to what I consider my home county, and I again offered to be of service to this community. I've never received money from Swanson Center, and that is about the most ridiculous claim I've ever heard, and I've been around a long time. I would know if that was happening. I've never heard anything like that before. So when we talk about attacks and insults and slurs and lies and some of the words used here today are shocking to me. I'm talking about my career in community service, and I have never seen such disgraceful high drama going on in the last 2 months in all of my observation of public life and my involvement in public life. I've been a respectful public servant for a very, very long time. And in that time, when you were still in your nappies running around the backyard, I was working on behalf of the people. And I've never, ever seen people focus on discord, focus on words like tyranny. Come on. The county team, we are not perfect. And across this county, there are people in public life, people who have spent their lives in law enforcement and community service and taking care of people. While they may not all be perfect, I will tell you, I have never seen all the things that you just mentioned. I believe that as public officials, the voters elect us to be dignified, to focus on the work of making sure our services are efficient, that we are watching their tax dollars, that we are making sure our operations focus on the best work that we can do as human beings who work for our community. So I want to say I am not participating in all this drama. I am not going to call out anybody because while I may not agree with certain things that have happened over the last 30 years of my observation, I've never seen tyranny, deception, outright lies. We need to stick up for morals and value and dignity. There's retribution, fear, desperation, a vat of filth and evil. Come on. This is LaPorte County. This is LaPorte County. We are a community that's made up of families and elders and people who care about each other. Yes, we have our problems, no doubt about it. We have all the disparate problems that big cities have are right here in our community. Drugs and deception and people making bad choices. We have mental health crises, all those kinds of things. But as a community, I think of all of the people, hard workers who come to that weekly call. 85 people join that call on some weeks, and they're all there to represent their agencies, their organizations, their nonprofits, their groups of employees, because they care about this county. I think as a commission, we need to focus on doing the right thing for the people who elected us and stop spending so much time on personal vendettas and all this other malarkey. I frankly have no patience for it. I'm focusing on the work of the people while I'm here as an elected official on their behalf. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well put. Since our last Commissioner meeting, like I said, I mentioned I had talked to Bruce about opening up the museum. We've brought that to fruition. I went on the phone with Dwayne about the Frost Law. A week before last, I toured the Michigan City Courthouse with Joe Core and some others, and see an amazing transformation there. I got a call from Bob Franco, who's the Porter County VNA, and we're going to have a meeting with him and also with Mayor Dermody to talk about some projects in LaPorte County. Meals on Wheels would be one. And the VNA, is some of the services that they offer that currently maybe we could use some help with in LaPorte. Also, we'll be talking with Mayor Dermody and Eric Hayes and Julie West concerning the animal control for the city. This is something that the city has brought up over the past few years, and I pretty much a few years ago told them what it would take to get LaPorte County involved with doing animal control for the city. And they're finally listening. They're finally coming up with some good ideas here, and we'll see how that goes. Looking forward to talking with them. Of course, I got the call Monday morning from Jeff Hamilton about the big accident down on US 30 and the 7,000 gallons of raw gasoline spill. I have since had made contact with Adam Parkhouse at NDOT and coordinating our cleanup efforts. That section of highway is going to be closed for a bit. It's going to be an inconvenience, but we've got some very smart people out there on top of that. We're keeping an eye on it, keeping in close communication with everybody involved. Also, Monday morning, I had a Zoom call with Councilman Yagelski, Marquis Electric, USI Consulting, and WJE Engineering about the Michigan City drawbridge. We continue to talk about the drawbridge, and we will probably have a proposal to consider between the commissioners and the council on what we're going to do with that bridge. As you know, the bridge right now is closed because we've got the restoration project, repair project going on, and this is something we're going to be saddled with every year. We need to have a long-range plan. Marquis Electric and USI have come up with that plan, and we're going to just have to figure out how we're going to pay for it. It's important. It's unfortunate that we're stuck with that, but that's one of those facts of life. And believe it or not, I did all of that without having to put anything on social media. I have talked with Mr. Bohacek, Mr. Pressel. I've had calls from several department heads that are wondering what is going on with our new commissioner, that he seems to be unhappy with everything about his job, which he's only been at for 60 days. He seemed to want to continue his personal attacks, his lies, complaining that he was about being removed from the RDC. He was never on the RDC. He never attended one meeting of the RDC. So you were never removed. You were never really put on there. These false accusations and innuendos, this vendetta that he seemed to have that just will not bear fruit, and it's not going to. I'm not even going to dignify his comments about things that he dug up from emails from years ago. I'm not even going to dignify that because it's totally irrelevant. I've been in county government for 13 years. I've seen a lot of people come and go. There's been a lot of people that I've agreed with and some that I've disagreed with. But the bottom line is I've never been intimidated by any of them. And I'm certainly not intimidated by Mr. Haney and his false accusation and his lies. I would suggest that if Mr. Haney is so upset and so put out by the way things are done in LaPorte County, by those of us who are working for the county and for the betterment of the county, that perhaps he should consider resigning and doing something different, because maybe it's not cut out for this kind of work. There's a whole lot of stuff you don't understand, but yet you continue to complain about. My suggestion would be learn your job and try to figure out a place where you can do something constructive instead of continuing with your rants and raves and personal attacks, because they're not going anywhere, and all they're doing is making you look dumb. So with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.